Maryland sucks.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Worldwide Football. As always, I'm your host, Connor Pujuelo. Here's my co-host, Matthew Rothman, and our team member, Alejandro.
What's up, yo?
Johnny at the moment, what's up, man? Johnny at the moment is currently observing the Greek Orthodox Holy Week in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. So I didn't know that, so I learned something new today because I myself am only a non-denominational Christian. I don't have any specific branch. But today we are here to talk about the Champions League once again as the quarterfinals did just conclude. Well, not fully concluded,
The
but
first leg.
the first leg concluded. And there were a lot of, I would say, well, to be fair, most results were pretty much expected. So, I mean, say what you want about the Madrid Bayern game. I'll let the two of them, Alejandro and Matt, go at it. But first things first, let's get the obvious out of the way. Matt, Alejandro, say whatever you want about the Barca Atletico game, and I'm just gonna take it on the chin.
Barca
Julián
Atletico.
Álvarez, my boy. Qué golazo. That's all I'm gonna say about that game. Qué golazo. For real.
Main thing to say about that Barca game, well, Barcelona's attack is absolutely horrendous outside of Lamine Yamal. Uh, yeah, of course, Rafinha wasn't there. Would have given you guys a boost, but fortunately, international break hit and he got injured. So yeah, big loss there. Um, that red card was the right call before anyone tries to say it wasn't.
Facts.
Last man, you know, denial of a clear goal scoring chance. You know, is it maybe a soft call? Sure, but unfortunately, the last man in the denial of a scoring chance, takes precedent. So that was the right call. Um, I was surprised that handball wasn't called. I know a lot of refs and these quote unquote experts have said, common sense and all that, but personally, like I've always been pretty simple. If the ball's in play, you know, you shouldn't be handling it. So I thought Barca did get robbed in that sense. But even then, it was still a really poor game from Barca's end. Defensively, they weren't great. In attack, they weren't great. Rashford. I hope Barca, I hope Barca buy him because that's going to be absolutely hilarious to see how they completely mess up another transfer. And yeah, pretty much Barca got what they deserved.
Alejandro, you got anything else other to add other than Julian Alvarez's brilliant free kick?
Uh nah, man, that free kick speaks for itself, for real. I mean, that set the tone. I'll be surprised if Barca can come back. That's it.
All right. Now let me get into I did release a TikTok the other day, basically just kind of pouring my guts out after that whole debacle. Let me tell you what it is. Ramad did touch on the fact that we played poor, and yes, we were playing poor. When we had 10 fucking men. Because for the majority of the first half, we were better. We just couldn't finish our dinner for God knows whatever reason. I feel so bad for Lamine Yamal. And the thing that scares me is the fact that Messi Messi stayed throughout the periods with Barcelona where he was surrounded by absolute bums. And before he says, "Oh, but he had Suarez, he had Neymar." Neymar left. Suarez was absolutely useless in big Champions League games after 2014-15, and the rest of the team around him was either aging or just ass.
Didn't Suarez leave, went to Atletico Madrid and won
And
the
won a
World
He
title.
won
Cup?
the title, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the Champions League, he was not. Suarez, I love Suarez, but his Champions League record
Yeah,
is poor. It's extremely poor.
that's something a lot of people overlook. Suarez in the UCL was very, really, very, very bad. Like what he only has 26 career UCL
Yeah,
goals or
around
something.
like 26, 27. A lot of them came at home because his away record was also extremely terrible. That was a huge criticism on his part, but obviously that's the past. I'm not here to talk about that. My point I'm making here is with Lamine Yamal, especially with how the modern football market is nowadays, if we don't do something to properly back Yamal with players that are competent, not old, and also not mentally deficient, because I'm really trying my best not to say say retarded, then it's just not going to work. Our team is full of kids who are still extremely immature, inexperienced, and just frankly overrated because La Masia is always going to have that extra PR to its name.
I
My
mean,
brother, my brother who
Olise said it
always
himself.
what's
What
up?
would you rather? What quality would you have from a Champions League player? He said Yamal's PR. He said himself.
Who did?
Olise.
Yeah.
Mm. Olise is honestly Olise is up there with the Lamine Yamals.
For sure.
Obviously, but our Bayern PR is just not as strong, unfortunately. But my point is that I've even had convos with Renzo about this. He would say he never really liked Kubarsi, but obviously I wanted to give him more room to grow in the ball playing center back role that he has. However, defensively, he's still really rash. He still cannot hold it down by himself. And weirdly enough, Gerard Martin, who's not even a center back, makes is not as rash as he is. And what pisses me off is the fact that you saw Araujo get away. You saw what he did against PSG, and you saw how, like, why would you want to go down a man for the sake of, oh, we're gonna give a goal away? Just trust your keeper. Ter Stegen's not in goal this year, so we didn't have that as an excuse. Just trust your keeper. And the worst part, if we go one goal down, we still have
Barca
11
usually
on the
would.
field.
Yeah. And the thing is too is that Barcelona, like under Hansi Flick, it's almost a guarantee they're gonna score every game with 11 men on the pitch.
Pretty much,
Like
I'm telling you, that whole first half, even though we weren't scoring, we were gonna get it eventually. Keep in
as
mind,
long
we
as it
scored
wasn't
three.
falling to
We
Rashford.
scored three against them, in that same stadium a few weeks ago, and we damn near came back and overturned a Copa del Rey loss. And we scored three. Unfortunately, Rafinha, because he tries to run the passion gimmick and try to run his legs to the ground in a meaningless friendly against France. And of course, Marc Bernal, the only other midfielder we had, got hurt again. So we had to be forced to put Eric Garcia in midfield, which did not work. And now Pedri got a knock, which means that he will only probably feature in the second leg for a little bit. So that's our best midfielder out. Because people say, why did he take off Pedri? Because he got a knock. That's why he had to put Gavi on, which is crazy because Gavi's only played he's barely played football this season.
Yeah, he was you could tell he was very rusty when he came on.
Yeah, Fermin Lopez came on, did nothing. I mean, you have 10 men. What could you, even with 10 men, we weren't as bad as most people say we were. It was just too easy at that point. They nullified all their attacks. They hit us on the counter. We're weak. And then by that point, the minute we got sent off and the minute Julian hit that amazing free kick, mentally we were done. Mentally, we just completely fucking gave up. I'm like, bro, what is it about this tournament that makes my club shit its pants? This is Atletico. This is the same side we've beaten three times this season. And yet somehow in the brightest of lights in our own stadium, we crumble. We crumble under the pressure. We make rash decisions and we're paying the price for it because now we have to go to the Wanda to pull off, quite frankly, a very, very difficult. I'm not going to say impossible because it's only two goals, but you know damn well what the game plan is going to be for Simeone and his team when we pull up to the Wanda.
They're gonna have 20 million buses in front of that goal
Oh,
during
they're
one.
gonna they're
My boy
gonna
playing haram ball all 90 minutes.
all 90 minutes, bro. They will play dirty if they have to. Speaking of playing dirty, I'm surprised Cook was still on the field because
Oh yeah,
he should have had a second yellow. What say what you want about the handball from Poolville. Honestly, I also think that it's crazy that they've given penalties like that before, but they didn't give it that time because
yeah, it's
they
weird
just
because
didn't
last
see
season
it.
they gave a penalty against Aston Villa when Tyrone Mings picked it up in that same situation. But the
Hmm.
year before, I know you know when Bayern Arsenal were playing, Gabriel picked up the ball, sort of same situation. They didn't give it, so
Yeah, and as for the
yeah,
Kubarsi
consistency
one,
wise,
yeah.
it's really
As for the Kubarsi one, I also think it's harsh. But then again, it's like because I know damn well because Simeone barely had control of the ball, but I know
yeah,
he was also looking for that contact the way he stuck his leg out. It damn near reminded me of when Saka tried to win that penalty against Bayern two
yeah, that
seasons
was funny.
ago against Neuer. And I'm like, it's more or less the same thing, but the harsh part is that it's the last man. So
Yeah,
it was gonna be cooked from the get-go. I was just like, oh, he's gonna get fucking sent off, isn't he? I'm like, bro, that's 3 years in a row where a player gets sent off in a big tie. because I know the Araujo one's like the big one, but Eric Garcia got one against Benfica, so that was also one. We didn't lose though, so there's the difference because Rafinha and Chesney bailed us out. But obviously, we had no Rafinha. We had to depend on Rashford. He can go back to Manchester and take his dumbass fans with him. Honestly, this was the game where he needed to. This was the game where he really needed to prove himself, and he just completely collapsed to the point where I'd rather see Cancelo play left wing and Balde start at left back. I'm
Oof.
not. I'm not seeing this man. I don't want to see this man rush. He's not staying. If my club has any kind of sense, they either send him back or they loan him for one more year. But no way do they spend even 30 million when that could be put towards some other position on a more promising winger, a striker which we desperately need, center backs which we desperately need. That money could go over there rather than pay to take him off United's hands and also pay whatever god high wages he's going to want to have.
Well, Barca don't have nearly enough to even afford like all the needs that they have, which is the tough part. But yeah, ultimately, I know, yeah, Rashford's been very hit or miss this season, to say the least. Like, highs, of course, you'll have the games like Newcastle, the lows, you have stuff like this. But yeah, overall, as you said, it's like
It's like he
when
puts
you're
numbers
that's
up, but when he's playing, right, his decision making is still terrible. When it comes to linking up with everyone. Now, granted, he does get, the few chances he does get, because a lot of the players also don't trust him at the same time. It's just you don't see the urgency there. He's super lazy. He gets dispossessed and he doesn't want to track back. That's already a big no-no, especially with Flick. Whenever he tries to shoot, he always goes for power, never tries to place it. His 1v1 ability, which used to be really good back in United, has
strong,
stagnated to where he's never confident when he's shooting in front of the goalie. It's happened against Real
like
Betis.
Leroy
It
Sané.
happens against it happened against Real Madrid in the Supercopa. Like, we brought you in here to be a goal outlet. We don't You can leave the tracking back to Rafinha, that's fine, but we need you to run into the spaces and finish your chances, and you can't, and be a threat down the wing, and you can't even do that.
Brought him
Then
in to be
why
a
the
threat down
hell
the
are you here?
you brought him in to be a threat down the wing, and he turned into Leroy Sané.
Honestly, he's a right-footed Leroy, just like Leroy. Because keep in mind, both of them were known for their pace. The pace, well, Rashford obviously never had a severe injury like Sane, so that pace was gone for Sane for a while. But Rashford, he has the pace. It's just he doesn't know when to use it, especially when he's that fast and he could easily use that to also help out defensively, and he doesn't. Again, like he has the numbers, and if they want to keep him on for a loan again, fine. But no way in hell is he worth spending the money for. Invest in a younger, more talented winger, and that's that. And then try to invest in position. Because obviously, I didn't want Levy starting. I think Danny Olmo should have started false nine because he did incredible there in the same against the same team a few days before that. Because when we played Atletico and we won, I think Olmo should have started false nine. I don't know why Levy started. He would have been better off the bench because he's off the bench. He's still better than Ferran when he plays in any capacity.
Of course.
It seems like all the good formations that Barca plays, they have a good game, and then they never do it the next game. It's always like, let's try something else. But if that shit work, keep that shit. But they
Nah,
don't.
that's one of the big things I have with Flick as well is that when there are times where we have Denny Olmo play false nine and it goes so well, he doesn't want to try it again. We tried playing Lamine down the middle and Rooney on the right, and it worked so well, and then he never tries it again. But this is a point now to where, for one, Olmo does a lot, and even Matthew could vouch for this. Olmo does a lot better when he's obviously the creative force is still there, but with his technicality, he's also a box threat.
Yep.
Playing him as a pure 10 doesn't work a lot of the times. But if you play him a little more in and towards the middle to like false nine position, he'll shine like he did at Leipzig.
Yeah, and as well as Leipzig, he obviously had guys around him. Would have had Xavi Simmons sort of helping him out. In his last season, even Werner before he fell off a cliff, he had him as well. Sort of in that sense, to help out with link up. Problem is like when you have, for example, Rashford and then Lewandowski up top, who isn't really going to provide, a whole lot of, you know, link up in the sense at its age. I think that's where you see
Yeah.
a lot
And
of the
Ferran Torres was just practically
shortcomings.
useless in all aspects.
I mean, yeah, we saw that coming anyway.
Hmm. But yeah, and our defense, you guys have heard me say it. We need investment. And I even said on my TikTok, do I think that we were favorites? Mainly just because everyone outside of Bayern, a little no, I can't even say Real Madrid because even Real Madrid fans would say themselves that they're not as good. They're not really that good this season. PSG, obviously, they're probably the best team in the world still. Let's be real. I wouldn't be shocked if they made it to the final again. That'll be a bigger test than Madrid for Bayern if they do go through. Arsenal, they're corner FC. What kind of? I mean, dude, it took it until the end of the game to finally get a goal against Sporting.
Bari.
But yeah, that's my take on the entire game. We just need reinforcements. But this is a game I still think we could come back from just tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. I'm not gonna raise my expectations up sky high. Um, but I still think it could be somewhat doable. Granted, Kubarsi's gonna be out, so unfortunately, I need Araujo to not be brain dead for once, but that's easier said than done. So
No,
if
I
we
mean, like
come back
if there,
against what Madrid, Aleti at the Wanda, someone please build Flick a statue outside the Camp Nou. That's our Champions League right there.
yeah, just build Flick a statue if he somehow manages to come back from that.
But I'll touch in now to the Bayern Real Madrid game. I'll let the both of you go at it. You guys tell me what you guys thought about it, and I'll start with and honestly, you guys can go back and forth with each other as well. So the floor is now on you guys. Matt, Alejandro, what did you guys think about the first leg at the Bernabeu of Real Madrid and Bayern Munich?
Okay, Vinny, you can't be missing that goal, bro. Mbappe, you can't be missing that goal, bro. Oh my God, bro. Yeah, we scored one. Okay, yeah. But score really could have been, and I'm gonna be honest, Bayern missed a few chances. They could have had like, 5 goals. I'm not gonna lie. Madrid could have had at least 3 solid goals, but we didn't make it happen. So we gotta work on that next game. We gotta really be clinical with the finishing. And I'm tired of seeing this, you know what I'm saying? Vinny, he has his level, but in that game, I'm like, bro, you back to the same shit. You back to the same, you know what I'm saying? Even a year ago, Vinny one-on-one with the keeper like that, that's a goal. So last game, that's unacceptable. There's nothing more to say than that. That's unacceptable, bro.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
literally have
finish those
no idea.
chances,
No.
and that's it.
Mbappe was more of a threat up front than
Yeah,
Vinny was, and
Yeah.
granted, a lot of that was also Neuer just running it back to his prime form. Because
yeah, I was gonna say
what a
it's the
game
power
from
of
him.
Neuer as
Neuer
he's
had a
fired
fucking
away.
game. That's prime Neuer throwback Thursday. Facts.
Yeah, prime Neuer indeed. Yeah, I mean you sort of touched on it, but I thought first half for Bayern, I thought they were the much better team in that first half. I don't recall really many chances that Real Madrid had. I think they had two shots on target that Neuer saved pretty comfortably. But yeah, the main thing was Bayern. They had a lot of possession that first half that they were able to create from. You know, Gnabry unfortunately is just ugh, like
Hey, don't
dude's
put it
right in
all on
front of goal.
Gnabry, because Upamecano
Yeah,
also missed a free header. He could have scored that.
yeah, two actually. Upamecano won the first half, won the second, two sitters that he
He
honestly
also
should have
nearly
made.
gave the goal away for Vinny because I don't
Yep.
know what the Opa Maguire comments never get away from him. On the shinest lights, he still has his bozo moment within
Yeah.
him. And you would have thought it would have been Ta, but no, it was him.
Even then, Tal was actually very lucky. I didn't think that was a red because
Oh
like he
yeah, the
didn't
Mbappe tackle.
yeah, because he didn't like have the full on stomp, but like very easily, if it was any other ref, they could have given that a red. But Yeah, in the sense like Gnabry in that sense, that first half, that chance he had after a big mistake, I believe it was Petarch who gave the ball away.
Yo,
That's
I don't rate
one
him.
that
I don't rate him. Why
yeah,
does
he's been
Arbeloa
really
rate
poor.
him? Alejandro, do you even think he's good?
Who?
Thiago Petarch.
Thiago Pitarch, the Spanish midfielder from
Hell
the academy.
no. Bro, let him, bro. I'm sorry. He needs more time to develop. He should not be starting, bro. I'm sorry. No.
Honestly, I know Camavinga's had his struggles, but he would have done a lot better in this game
He's by far
than
the better
him.
player, and he got more Champions League experience. You cannot tell me you want to start Thiago Pitarch over Camavinga, bro. You're crazy, bro. That's that's crazy, bro.
Bellingham came back to
Yeah,
fuck
Bellingham
all,
actually
really.
played well.
And then we
Uh,
got a 60 million waste of a player, Mastantuono. He's not doing shit. I'm
did he
like,
even play? I don't even think
no,
he's on.
bro.
Yeah,
This
but they spent 60 mil on him.
that to me, bro.
Yeah,
When
which
you
is
see how Olise
hilarious.
is playing for Bayern for less money,
And Elise also ripped
Olise absolutely
he
ripped
ripped
Carreras
Carreras a new one
apart.
after
he got
in
like
that whole
40,
match.
40 something goals and assists this season, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
would be close to 40. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think as I said, first half was really good. Second half, like of course, Kane gets the goal. After Kane, that first half was really fucking terrible. To be honest, that might be the worst first half I've seen from him this season. Part of that due, of course, he's coming back from an injury, which made sense.
And also the
Pavlovic
fact that,
also,
because your midfield, I'll be real, and especially in that second half, your midfield just completely switched off.
oh yeah, for
Pavlovic
sure.
was shaking, and Kimmich, honestly, in that game was mid in general. I'll be
Yeah,
so real with
I didn't
you.
like Kimmich a whole lot in
Um,
that game, even though
yeah,
like
so
for whatever
definitely, he
reasons, like
definitely had
football
to drop
wise,
back. Doing all that while he's playing through an injury is still crazy to me. Like you'd think your midfield would have the energy to be able to combat Madrid's, but no, it actually, especially in that second half, they were all over you. And
it
obviously,
was
thanks
very
to Neuer,
intense
it was.
in that second half in
Mhm.
particular, which was a big issue. And that's why, like, I didn't really, I wasn't really a fan of Musiala coming into that game because the main thing is, you know, he was coming back from injury as well. You know, the big thing was Byron for him to take it slowly. I didn't think that was the right sort of environment for him. I would have put in Carl, even though, I haven't been too impressed with him as of lately. I still think he would have provided a bit more going forward. And theoretically, he also could have made that chance that Musiala missed, which was right in front of goal. No left foot. No, didn't take that chance. Um, but yeah, there was also quite a few
He
other
also did miss a chance as well. That was unlucky.
yeah, there are also quite a few other chances. Um, like Diaz would go down to one end, but always make a poor decision.
Hmm.
Um, and that was all. I think like both teams, in fact,
I
that
think the
game.
one
All of
sub that
that.
at least had like somewhat of a good showing was probably Davies. I think he was definitely
Yeah,
that
he was
outlet
solid.
that needed to come on to at least bring some kind of, pace and stability. Because keep in mind, at that point towards the end of the game, you guys were just holding on to make sure that you could hold on to the lead.
Yep.
And because Madrid were trying to come back, especially after that first goal, which you could say was a little bit of a lapse in judgment. Great ball from Trent. You could
Yeah,
say Upamecano
Pavlovic
could have
also
done
trailed
better,
behind.
and also
But I
Pavlovic
mostly put
losing.
that on Pavlovic because he loses Trent, and ultimately that's what caused the Trent to get into that position for the pass. You know, could Upamecano have done better? Yes, but I think those are always very tough to sort of judge because if Upamecano, let's say, slides for it, it's probably an own goal. So I always look at what happened before. Pavlovic is the one that loses Trent,
It's always hard
on
for a
that
counter
cross.
attack.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would say the midfield definitely had his battles, but yeah, something needs to give, especially when keep in mind there's two of them in there because Gnabry is only a makeshift 10, and it's not like he really does a whole lot of help
it's
going back
horrible.
either. I mean, yeah, he set up the goal for Diaz, but other than that, he really didn't do anything. And
Yeah,
I mean,
missed two chances too.
do you really expect him to? I mean, he's in there solely because Musiala's still not ready yet. I'll end it with this. Alejandro. With obviously Madrid and can make a possible comeback, what do Madrid need to do to ensure that can actually happen? Is it time to start belling him?
Nah.
Because I wasn't impressed with Guler either.
Mm.
Did Guler even
Tough,
play?
bro. It's tough, bro.
Did.
Bellingham's not playing like how he was, 2 years ago. He was that guy, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'd say he's on the brink of being on the bench. He's not playing how I want him to play, bro. That's I honestly don't have really anything good to say about Bellingham. Nah, bro.
He's been poor this season. He's also dealt with the injuries, but at this, I can't, he can't be anywhere. I mean, I know they try with Guler, but Guler still is not that impressive either.
You gotta start Camavinga. Enough of this Thiago. Nah, bro. Hasta Antonio, I'm gonna say for the money that we paid for him,
He's a bust.
he need a play, bro. I'm like him just sitting on the bench for that much money. It doesn't sit right with me. I need to see him do something on the field. And on like worse than that, how could you get rid of Endrick and like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get rid
I
of
can't
Vendrick, who's
even. I don't even want to
basically
Yeah,
get
but
started on
he's
like
also
you know
kind
what
of
I'm saying.
fallen off at Lyon as recent. But Matt, obviously you have their team has the advantage. What do you want to see from your team more going into next week?
I think the biggest thing is setting the tone. Like you need to get a goal quickly. I know at the Bernabeu, Limer had a very good chance early on. Was considered by many footy apps to be a big chance miss. So, ultimately, when you go to the Allianz, that chance has to be put away. I think that would be the first thing I would say. Like, you don't have to play the perfect game, because usually at home you could sort of afford to make mistakes, but it's the main thing of like, how do you sort of set the tone of like what's going to happen in the game. That's what Bayern have to do. They have to get the first goal. The midfield has to be a lot more smoother with passes because passing, on Tuesday was really bad overall, the whole team. Um, so yeah, I would say those two things.
Shit,
Yeah,
going
pretty
into next
much.
game, Bayern got home field advantage. We had home field advantage. You got the whole crowd chanting your name, and you can't put away a simple one-on-one. This is on me,
Yeah,
bro.
that was honestly because Vinny does normally turn up in the Champions League knockouts, but this was the one game where you could say he was absolutely butt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
facts.
Stanisic held him
It's
pretty
not for
well.
And
Mbappe.
Stanisic not even a left back.
And honestly, it goes back to the argument, people want to say, oh, you know what I'm saying, they can work together, but in reality, bro, you gotta pick either Vinny or Mbappe. They play together, it's cool, but it's not to the full effect, bro. Real Madrid is most potent when one of them is on the pitch, not both.
Hmm.
Yep.
And just to end off the video, honestly, none of us are shocked with the PSG result, right?
Oh, my
Not at
boy
all.
do it. Oh my, yo, Ballon d'Or 2026, Desiree do it. Watch.
That's a big statement. But honestly, no, everyone saw that coming. They let them have no shots on target and say what you want about the attack, but the midfield, the way they just absolutely suffocated Liverpool's, that was a war crime in
I
itself.
mean, Liverpool's whole team that game was terrible. Defense was bad. Midfield sucked. Attack
Everyone just sucked.
did,
I
yeah.
didn't think Salah wouldn't have done anything either, despite being on the bench.
Like, I
Anyways,
don't think
guys,
no guys played well in that game.
yeah, no. And there's no hope for Anfield either. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Worldwide Football. Be sure to keep in touch with all of our social media on our IG and on our respective TikToks. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and we'll see you next week for the second leg. Who knows what'll happen? Take care, y'all.
Peace.